All right. Welcome, one and all. Rock and roll. Welcome to the Scorched Earth Political Podcast. I am your host, John, and if you could kindly hit that like and subscribe button. It means a lot to us here, and if you're feeling a little frisky, go ahead and leave some comments. Here we are. We are welcoming friend and foe, sinner and saint, and we aim for a more raw and honest view of what's going on in the political scene. I think, honestly, what's going on there is kind of disgusting. I think it's all about money. I think it's all about access. I think it's all about vanity. And that's actually going to be our first story of the day. I think it's all become corrupted, but you can make your own decisions here if you listen to the podcast. Here we try to hold everybody accountable. We're taking no prisoners, telling no lies, and let's burn it all to the ground. And let's start out with one of the more popular, I guess, host of CNN, Jake Tapper. He is a fecal and impotent human being. All right? Yeah. Okay. Hey, welcome to the podcast. Okay? Yeah. He is the co-author of a book right now that basically is chronicling the last year and a half of Joe Biden. And he is insinuating, without very much facts, that Biden was out of it cognitively. Okay? Maybe it's true, maybe it wasn't. I guess the question you really want to ask yourself is, do you want a guy in the presidency who may be a little diminished cognitively, but who surrounded himself with some of the most talented people in the world, or somebody maybe a little more on it who literally hires the clown show? Just saying. Just saying. Really? Biden's chief for defense, Austin, 4-star general, Pig Hegseth. Yeah, okay, enough said, right? But Jake Tapper is making the rounds, and especially on CNN. He is literally going on every show on CNN and talking about, there was this, there was that. And I'm going to say this. Everybody is doing the Monday morning quarterback, okay? And look, I wish we had won the presidency. I seriously do. I mean, we have to live with the after effects of that every day. But think about this. About a year ago, we had dealt with two people in the Democratic Party who ran against Donald Trump. One was a super talented lady, Hillary Clinton. One was a super talented guy, Biden. But I think if you're really being honest, the big thing for Biden was he wasn't Trump, right? Trump had done 4 years of literally eviscerating everything that we knew in terms of morals, government, caring, ethics, And at the end of the day, he lost that election to Biden, right? So now we come around and we know Trump is on the revenge tour. He has told his supporters that vengeance is me. I am going to be your wrath. I am going to be your vengeance. We already had a guy in the White House who had beaten him once, right? What do? Do you do an open primary? Okay, yeah, now that we lost, we know what that is, right? Okay, you do the open primary, blah, 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 blah. But, I can understand where the Democrats were like, you know what, he is our best chance to win. We just have to keep everything on the down low. And the debate blew it all up, right? You couldn't hide it anymore. Okay, it was what it was. The next 4 years, he would have been a great president. He probably would have been a little out of it. I've got elder parents. I understand what that is. They have ins and outs. But he had super talented people around him running the administration, right? And I think that what we're looking at is, like I said, the Monday morning quarterback. Okay, yeah, we should have ran the open primary. I mean, really, who out there did you think was going to beat Trump? Was it going to be Gavin Newsom? Was it going to be Kamala Harris? I don't know. And like I've said, the next election is going to be a referendum on Trump and his 4 years. J.D. Vance isn't going to be able to get away from him. Or whoever the Republicans put out, they're not going to be able to get away from that. You're going to have to be tied to him and his policies. And as we see with this bill that's coming out of the House, and we don't know what the final incantation of it is, the Republicans going to be stuck with it. And I think the debt's going to explode. The deficit's definitely going to explode. And we're going to see what happens to all these millions of people who lose their Medicaid. And we'll see if they go after Social Security next. I don't know. But Jake Tapper, he's on every day and he's showing his book. He is on every show and he's showing it. Oh, this is my book. This is my book. And I'm watching it. Excuse me. And I'm thinking to myself, first of all, are you related to Donald Trump? You're on news shows, and all you're doing is pimping your book. I mean, what, you couldn't get in on the crypto market? Qatar didn't want to give you a biplane or a hang glider? Sorry. And then I'm thinking to myself, I'm watching. He's literally yesterday, he was on like 4 different CNN shows. Obviously, it's my fault because I watched 4 CNN shows, so yeah, my bad. But then I'm thinking to myself, when did this goddamn network become the home shopping network? Hello? And who's the pimp and who's the prostitute? Is CNN getting a cut of every book? Or do you get a cut of every book and CNN gets the money? I don't know. But there's a lot of innuendo. There's a lot of BS going on there. I don't know. You know, I just want to throw up about Jake Tapper. Let's get to the second thing. And this is really going to start getting controversial. You might want to just X out of the podcast here. Is we had 2 young people from the Israeli consulate who were gunned down by a pro-Palestinian supporter. He said, "Long live Gaza, down with Israel." And let's be honest, the Trump administration in their political panhandling will definitely, most definitely bring the death penalty on this guy. That's fine. Whatever you want to do, fine. But I'm telling you right now, I'm getting a little tired of everything is anti-Semitism. Look, this is specifically a hate crime. This is an anti-Semitic gesture. Nobody is talking about the fact for the last 18 months, Israel has not given humanitarian aid, food, water, or medical supplies to Gaza that is under siege by them. They are beating them down, and they are beating them down. And at the end of the day, I don't know what this guy's story is, and I am not condoning what he did. But at the end of the day, if you had brothers, sisters, mom, and dad out there, and they are literally starving in Gaza, how are you not going to hold Israel accountable? They act like what they are doing on one side doesn't come back in the other. Like I told you yesterday, it's like Donald Rumsfeld said, and he is as the most conservative person you've ever seen, Defense Secretary for George Bush, said, if we go into Iraq, are we making generation after generation of future terrorists? And that is exactly what we did, and that is exactly what Israel is doing here. Israel has to own this a little too. What he did was wrong. I am not saying murder is the answer. But on some answer, don't give me this, it's always anti-Semitic. It's always, hey, the Jewish people are being persecuted. You know what? I did a little Google search. Take it for what it is. That Gemini AI is some powerful stuff. Last year in Los Angeles County, there was 875 deaths. And approximately 38% of those were black individuals. Okay? I don't know who killed them, whatever. I don't know what race or nationality killed them. But do we say when a black person gets killed, it's a hate crime, it's a racist crime? No, we don't. Sometimes it is, but a lot of times it is just an immoral act. It is somebody killing somebody. Okay? It's not all based on race or whatever. You know, hey, we are dealing with an administration who said after Charlottesville, after basically a white supremacist rally, Klan rally, they ran over protesters. The president said there's good people on both sides. And any chance he gets to curry favor with the Israeli lobby, he will. Okay, look, I don't condone what happened to him. And it was anti-Semitic. But they say every college protest is anti-Semitic. No, it's not. It's pro-Palestinian. It is pro-Gaza. That is where they're making their terrible mistake. Well, they're not making a mistake. They want a political pander. That's exactly what the goddamn mother effers want. All right, John, calm down. You know your blood pressure. All right. Hey, happy Memorial Day weekend to y'all. Happy Friday. I hope you have some nice plans out there. I will tell you this. I went to go see Mission Impossible yesterday. Oh my God. It's bloody good. Gets a little heavy in the middle to the bottom third, but man, that's some action. That is some action. It's worth the wait for 2 years. 2 years, Tom Cruise. We also in the news have the United States Department of Justice under Trump and Pam Bondi. I like calling her Biondi, even though it's Pam Bondi. I don't know, it just sounds like she's stupider. And I don't even know how you can make that lady stupider than what she really is. They are moving to drop police reform agreements, known as dissent decrees, with the cities of Minneapolis and Louisville, that the Biden DOJ had agreed to with these cities in terms of having police reform after the terrible George Floyd and Breonna Taylor murders in 2020, right? This is the 5-year anniversary of George Floyd. Bless you, brother. Bless you, brother. And I want to say unequivocally here that the police have literally one of the hardest jobs there is. They put their lives on the line for us every day to keep our community safe. But there is bad actors in there. There is bad eggs. And the problem with the police is, the blue wall, right? That nobody talks on anybody. Nobody snitches on anybody. And I think most people who are reasonable would look at what happened for George Floyd with Derek Chauvin, and he continually choked him out. That is the difference now in society. Before, we just read it in the newspaper. Oh, yeah. Now we have video. It's visceral. It makes an impact, right? And what he did is he cried out for his mom with his last breath. Everybody said, he's a bad cop. Okay, they did a bad thing. Look at the Memphis 5 who ran down and killed that kid. Look, most cops, I'm going to say 98% are good cops. But when they don't call out the bad cops, it taints everything. And these police reform agreements that the Biden DOJ were in response to the minority communities that these police departments serve felt that they were being targeted and maligned by law enforcement. Look, I have black friends, and they have a severe distrust of police. Well, it's things like this, where they say, oh, nothing to see here. No, those agreements we made with Minneapolis and Louisville, no, you don't have to do it. Cops were in the good. No reason to deal with anything. That's where people lose faith in the system. That's all I'm going to say. I think that what Trump is doing is whitewashing. He wants a world where white people, our racist history, our racist present doesn't exist in his eyes. We can do no wrong. And that's bullshit. Look, everybody, whether it's white, whether it's Asian, whether it's brown, black, green, people make mistakes. And you know what you do when you make a mistake? You make up for it. You do reform. You do a penance. You do some type of civic thing to go, okay, let's not let this happen again. All right, enough of that nonsense, right? All right, we've also heard of the all-you-can-eat buffet. Well, it seemed last night in Sterling, Virginia, President Trump had the how much for a seat at his little crypto get-together with his little cronies. Seems like 220 of the biggest buyers of his bullshit crypto coin got private access. The top 75 cents, the 75 cents of every dollar that is purchased on that coin goes for administrative fees. right? So the people who were there in Sterling, Virginia, had bought $111 million worth of his coins. Well, you could do the math. That's approximately $80 million goes into his pocket. Wow. I'm going to hang out with him for dinner. I get 80 million bucks. Reuters and Forbes is reporting that he has made on this meme coin $1 billion a month since he's been in office. Okay? We don't know the real amount because they got secret wallets, they have secret exchanges, whatever. But let's talk about Justin Sun. Okay? This guy's a real prince. He is a so-called billionaire, right? And let's get to it. Hold on a second there, you little rascals. All right. He is the founder of this crypto coin called Tronix, right? And I actually know about this coin. My buddy actually invested in this coin. Believe me, I had plenty of my own stupid coins I invested in, right? And he was under investigation by the SEC under Biden, the moral guy, for manipulating the coin so he could make money and the people who bought into it would lose. He had algorithms, everything. It wasn't actual market forces that were dictating the price of the coin. He was manipulating so he and his friends could make egregious amounts of money, right? Well, God bless him. He's a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis, and he became the first prominent investor to back the Trump family crypto scam, World Liberty Financial at the end of 2024. He poured at least $75 million into the token. And like I said, 75 cents of every dollar goes to Don Jr. and Eric for administrative fees. God damn, I didn't know the price of cocaine was that expensive anymore. All told, Sun's actions, including buying sparked other crypto enthusiasts to follow him into buying this, have generated more than $400 million just in the World Liberty Financial. That is separate from the Trump token. Because, hey, if we can do a grift on this hand, we can do a grift on that hand. Thank you. Money, money, money. Right? Then you are not going to believe this coincidence. Then about a month into the Trump's new administration, February of this year, the SEC paused the investigation on Justin Sun. Oh my God. How did that happen? Wow. SEC lawyers in February asked the judge to put the agency's civil fraud case against Sun on hold. Yeah. You know, we thought the Qatari jet was just so obscene it could never happen. They accepted the jet. The Republicans didn't say a word. I mean, at the end of the day, what the goddamn is going on here, man? I mean, they just took a $400 million bribe in front of everybody. And now, less than a week later, he's having 220 investors. He just made $80 million tonight that we know of. Let's be honest, he probably made double that, but I don't know that figure, so I'm not going to say it. But I'm going to say it. You know, at the end of the day, the presidency is for sale. And you keep hearing about it. Well, a lot of people are like, well, it's the way it is. If they're selling the presidency, you know who's paying the price? It's me and you. They're doing things against our interests. That is theoretically what the president of the United States should do, is do things for the better good of human beings in the United States. Not taking away our goddamn Medicaid. Not trying to touch our Medicare. I'm telling you, when this deficit blows, we're all going to be in trouble. And the bond market is going up in terms of interest. I'm telling you, everybody thinks the interest rate's going to come down this year. You are in for a big surprise. You are in for a big effing surprise. You know, all these Christians are like, oh, you know, we're going to get a big tax hike. We're going to get a big tax hike if we don't get this tax cut through. You know what? You are going to see what devastation is. There's a recession coming. It's coming. I don't want to get into it, but you know what? We'll talk about it again. All right. That's it today for Scorched Earth. I just want to tell you all I love you. I appreciate everything you do. And we're in this together. We're going to win because we're on the side of right. We're on the side of good. And because we're fighting for democracy. Not just for ourselves, but for our kids, our brothers and sisters, and our kids' kids. All right. Have a good weekend, you rascals, and I'll see you soon on Scorched Earth.